So, here I am again. Hi, hello, and welcome again. Microbehunter here. My name's Oliver. Welcome again to another Saturday microscopy live stream. Today I want to take apart this microtome over here. This is looks a little bit antique, the microtome. Can still be bought. It's pretty expensive though. And I would like to show it to you. Not only that, I would like to take it apart, as I already said. And look what I've got here. I've got a new stain, which I did not try out yet. And I would like to try to stain the plant cross sections that I've cut with this microtome using this stain here as well. And I've got a few other stains for comparison as well. Okay, so so that's basically the intro. People are starting to join the chat now, so I want to say again hello all around the world, to Vietnam, to Germany, to the Netherlands, to the United States, Florida, Serbia, England, Rhode Island in the United States, London, UK, Cyprus, Poland, okay, Ljubljana, neighboring country. Hello from Wales, neighboring city. United States, Germany, sound is good, thank you very much. Netherlands again, and from France. So basically today, as I mentioned, I'm going to try to experiment around with this microtome here. How much does it cost? The first question, it's crazily expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. I think I've seen it somewhere on eBay for around 300 euros. I don't know, but actually it does work quite well, at least for the plant stems that I would like to cut today. And the principle is a little bit different than some other microtomes, okay? So, but unfortunately it is a little bit expensive, and kind of my hope is if I mean, I have a 3D printer at home, but if any one of you is able to, I don't know, design some files here, and maybe we can learn from this a little bit, and then kind of, I don't know, get a 3D printed. I have no idea if this is even going to work, right? In any case, that's a little bit the thing. So I'm going to take it apart. So the principle is quite simple, and there are a couple of nice features that it has that I would like to show you. Okay, so today, if you're new to this format, you can, of course, please feel free to ask questions in the chat. I will try to answer them. Sometimes the questions are a little bit off topic. However, today something is going to be a little bit different, because my son, who usually always copy-pasted the questions together from you, is not here today. He's visiting a friend, and for this reason I'll have to change the format around a little bit. Yeah, and another thing that I need to say, next week, unfortunately, I won't be able to do a live stream, okay? I still have to see if I'm able to make a video and then still put it online. So I'm gonna try to do that, but no guarantee. It will be then so-called a premiere, but unfortunately next week I won't be around, but then the week afterwards again. Okay, so so from Germany, Osnabrück, okay, UK, United States, Essex, UK, okay, so that's kind of the thing here, and I'm going to do the following. I'm just going to explain to you the principle first by simply demonstrating it, how it actually works, okay? Because maybe some of you might not be familiar with what microtomes are, especially if you're new to microscopy. But essentially what I want to do is, when I want to put something under the microscope, then I have to make very, very thin cross sections, right? And what I've got, and you've already seen this before, a couple of weeks ago, these are stems of a flower, right? And I put it into alcohol. Basically what you can do is you pick out one of those stems here, and I would like to have very nice cross sections, right? And what you do is the following. By the way, can I just say something? Let's try this out, because I'm always looking down and then you're seeing the top of my head. I tried it with a second camera. So I don't know if this is better or not. At least I can try to look at you directly. I don't know if this is better or not, but I think that's the important thing here. Look, there's a lever. If you push this, then it just goes over here, right? And then what you can do is you can put the stem, you can put it in here, right? And it's clamped into place. And what we've got here is a very sharp razor blade. And look what happens when I slide it over. It goes quick, and it slices. It slices it, right? So, and then what I have to do is I have to kind of open it again. I rotate the wheel a little bit. Yeah, I rotate it up a little bit, and then I can try to make another slice. Okay. 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 Do you see that? I can get very, very thin slices. Yeah. And this actually works quite well. And I was able to get very thin slices already this way. Okay, so that's kind of the principle. Okay, how this works. You see, not all of them are nice. Okay, because sometimes they're a little bit too thin, and then they're kind of a little bit yeah, but good enough for most purposes. Yeah, you turn it again, and then you can slice it again. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to change the razor blade as well. You get the idea, right? So this, I can put this now under the microscope, right? So this is simply the principle how this works. Now, because this is an alcohol, it's going to start drying up, and then it's going to start shrinking, and then it's really hard. So for this reason, I'm going to transfer this into into water. So I have over here just a beaker with this is just regular tap water. Okay. Okay, and then I simply can transfer them. And look, I got myself those tweezers here. These are used for people who are collecting stamps, right? It does less damage to the slices. But I mean, look at this. Some of the slices are already damaged anyway, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just a proof of concept that we have here. And you can actually see how it's moving around because of the surface tension, right? Yeah, and I'll be making a few more later, maybe, right? But I just wanted to, yeah, maybe I do have to use those here. Yeah. And I just wanted to show this to you, what the principle of a microtome is, right? And if I just basically rotate it directly without loosening it at first, then it gets stuck here. So I have to actually, make it loose again. Then I can rotate this a little bit, and then I can try the next slice. Okay, I have to make it loose again, rotate it. Let's try 3 times, maybe a little bit thicker. Yeah, and it actually works reasonably well. Let's put it again into water here. Okay. Yeah, and I'll be staining it then later. And because the alcohol evaporates, for this reason I have to take it out again. I'm just going to put it back into the alcohol wherever I put it. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to put it back in here. Yeah. So. And it's gonna take up the alcohol again, and yeah. So that's a little bit the principle, and so that is basically the thing. And I don't know, I'm trying this now with a second camera. The image quality is not quite as perfect, but maybe at least it's for me. It's more comfortable to talk to you like this because I don't have to look up into the screen all the time. So I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna see. Okay. So this is a kind of a little bit the idea. However, I just realized when I want to read the chat, I do have to look up again. Okay. So hello from Barcelona, Connecticut. Yeah. I'm guessing the plant sample goes into the circular hole and has a spring that pushes it up slightly so the razor blades can slide forward and cut it. So the thing is the following. There is indeed a spring here. I'm going to open it in just a minute, okay? But from the bottom, there is essentially, it's just flat on the bottom. It just pushes it up, right? So, yeah, that's basically it. And what I have done is the following. Because it was too deep, yeah, I actually dropped a piece of wood into it to make it a little bit higher. Yeah. So so that is the thing. Okay, so far people seem to like the camera, but now I have to look up again. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. That's also correct. Teeny Coco just mentioned it. Look at this, the way that the blade moves, right? Right. It doesn't cut directly across like this, but it slices at an angle, and I think this makes cutting easier. Yeah. So and indeed, it's easier to cut like this than if you were to cut just directly perpendicular, right? So that's yeah. So I'll just do the following. I have to mark where I left off with reading. Yeah, and what I'm just gonna do now is let's have a look into this microtome here, okay? Of course there is a razor blade here. Look, you cannot even cut yourself because it's a little bit, it's pushed against the metal surface here. And if you want to exchange the razor blade, and I'm also gonna do that, all you have to do is you have to kind of loosen it here, right? Then this goes off. Yeah, this is also made of metal, and here is the razor blade. Yeah, so I'm just going to remove this here. Okay, I'm going to put it somewhere where, yeah, I do have over here also fresh razor blades, and I'm just going to later on put one in here, right? I'm not going to do that now because I just want to show you how it looks on the inside. Honestly, on the inside there it's not super exciting, but still. just wanted to know, so that's why I already took it apart. That's why I already took it apart. Okay, so let's take this one out here. Let's take this one out here. Okay. Okay. And I don't know what this the way that this whole thing is made looks almost like it's from the 60s or something. Yeah, yeah. And again, I have seen it on eBay a few times already, but it was really expensive. But the principle is interesting, and then you just basically remove the lid, and this is how it looks like, right? This is just a regular metal plate. Yeah, nothing special here. This is the slider. You see over here they also put some paint over here so that the screws stay in place. Yeah? So actually a fairly simple, straightforward system. This one over here, what we have is essentially you have here is a piece of metal, a spring, and this kind of pushes against this wheel here, so that basically this might make this sound. Yeah. So simply to control the rotation a little bit. In here, what I have done is I placed a piece of wood. I wonder if I can get it out here. Okay, the reason why I put this wood in here is otherwise it would have been a little bit too deep, right? And for this reason, I lifted it up a little bit. And then there is this interesting thing over here. Look, when it goes over like this, there is this little interesting kind of, I don't know, slot here. And I was kind of wondering, what is this good for? And I think I have no guarantee that this is correct, but I think that this was meant to be a kind of so that you can put your slide in here and hold it so that you can move the specimens on the slide. But the problem is it's not wide enough. Yeah, so I'm not able to fit it in here. Yeah, but that's a little bit what I assume the function could be. Right, so I don't know. Maybe many years ago the slides had a different format or standard. I don't know. Yeah? But in any case, this is how it looks like. And look, if you push this over here, then this is kind of the clamp holding it in place. And there's something quite interesting here. A little bit difficult to see. Maybe I'm going to lower this here. It's still a little bit. Let me see if I can turn on the light. Yeah, now you can see this. I'm just going to point to it. Do you see that this little metal piece over here, right? This little metal piece here, this prevents the specimen from actually touching the side here, so that there is a little bit of a space here. The reason is that otherwise it might get the specimen might get stuck here on the corner, right? And so I think that's the reason why they included this little piece of metal here, but it still gets stuck in the corner here. So what I have to do every time when I want to raise the specimen a little bit, I have to push it over, to loosen it up. Then I can rotate this and it goes up, and then I can clamp it again. Yeah, and this is a little bit the principle here. I don't know what the number means here. I don't know, some kind of a serial number maybe. Yeah, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to read again here. Yeah. So there is again a hello. Just a second. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Okay, now it works. Okay, I had a problem with the chat here. Okay. The threads on that wheel must be incredibly fine. Yeah, that might be. But I've seen similar things also with regular screws. Okay, now I'm switching around with the camera. Okay. I don't know. I think a cheese board slicer at the human eye is just as good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you want to cut a cheese that's still a little bit thicker than that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ever smaller, Jesse. With a slight modification in design, I think it can be made so you don't need to open the spring to advance the screw. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. And there are a couple of off-topic questions as well. I will try to answer them later on, okay? Yeah. So where can you find this microtome? I don't know. I mean, I did not buy this. I have to admit it does not belong to me. It belongs, I'm a teacher in a school, so it belongs to the school. But it has not been used for quite some time, I think. Yeah? Maybe I'm the only one who's actually using it. But I've seen it actually online as well. But because I wanted to buy one as well, but then I said, no, I'm not, because it was really really expensive. But we're going to see how well it actually works, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to close this again here, and we're going to open the other side, because there's something I want to show you in the other side as well. Okay, because this explains a little bit what they have done is how they have reduced the so-called the tolerances. No, this is not going to work. I have to make sure. See, is this already logged in? Okay, it seems to be fine. Here we go again. So generally what I like about those old-fashioned systems, old-fashioned under quotation marks, is that you see you can take it apart, you can put it together, you can service it, yeah. All of these, that's something something that I kind of like, yeah. I mean, not that this is a very complicated thing that needs frequent servicing, but generally I like to understand how things actually work, and I like it when things can be actually taken apart, right? So this is basically, yeah, how it still works. Now let's have a look at the other side, and the other side is a little bit more interesting. Look, you have to later on make sure that this one actually stays then in place here. This is yeah, for this lever here, right? And the second one, you got to be careful when you open it, because this board, or this board, I don't know, this side down here is a little bit under tension. Okay, I'm going to show you why. Because this actually is a way of reducing tolerances and wiggle. Just go, yeah. And so I have to open this here again. I already opened it today in the afternoon. Afternoon my time, of course. Yeah. And because I don't want to demonstrate something, yeah. And look, it's already starting to come off. Yeah, there is, yeah, because there is a spring here inside, and this spring makes sure that this whole system is more or less wiggle free. So it kind of, yeah. So up. Look at this. There is this gigantic spring in here, right? And this spring pushes this container downwards, right? Because otherwise there is every time when you turn something, there is a little bit of a wiggle, and this kind of reduces the wiggle, because when there's a threading, then there is always, it's never perfectly fitting, and sometimes there's always a little bit of movement, and this spring prevents this movement. Yeah, and so you can basically see when you, this one is the lever, yeah. When you turn this, you can actually see that those metal pieces, they kind of touch the wheel over here on the side, making this clicking sound. Okay, I think not absolutely necessary, but I guess maybe I assume that yeah, one notch like this maybe raises it by a certain amount. Yeah, yeah, and in here, that's basically where you put the specimen. Yeah. Yeah, in here. So that's kind of the container, and this, by turning this, it's kind of pushed downwards and yeah, advances the specimen. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. I'll quickly also explain the function of this part here. Okay. So what I have to do now is I have to put it back together again. Again, this is careful, and now this part here, this little thing here, has to go into this hole over here. So we have to be careful. I have to find it again. So, let me see if I'm able to. Here we go. Up. Okay. I'm gonna put in one screw first. And then let's, yeah, I just wanted to show this to you. Okay. And then let's start doing some actual staining, specimen preparation, and microscopy work as well. Okay. Yeah. So over here, other side here as well. So I don't know, maybe some of you, if you have not already done so, I've not read the chat yet, but maybe some of you can go online and maybe try to find it on eBay. I know that yeah, it wasn't only sold used, but actually some companies I've seen actually apparently still had some of them in stock, and actually sold them as new as well. So maybe they have made back in the day a lot of these. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why these should actually break or anything like that. It's made fully of metal. Yeah. But I think it's an interesting concept. As I already showed you, it works surprisingly well, especially if you want to cut, I would say, plant stems or other specimens that are sufficiently small. Not suitable for, I think, specimens that are embedded, for example, in paraffin. Yeah, for example, animal tissues like commonly used in histology and so on. I think probably less suitable, but at least for plants, I think it works reasonably well. So let me see, because simply make sure that this is really tight. Otherwise, I don't want this thing to come off. Okay. Yeah. So let's see if this still works. Yep. Also still works. So and let's put in a new razor blade. Okay. Always got to be careful. And let's put this in here. And this goes on top. You see that this here also acts as a little bit like a handle. Okay. And we're ready to go again. Okay. Yeah, so somebody already found out, eBay for about 300 euros. Honestly, I think this is ridiculously expensive. For 300 euros, you can already get a microscope. Seriously, right? Still, just wanted to show it to you. Let me quickly have a look here. Okay. Okay, if there are any questions. If you have any questions specifically to me, please say it at Microbehunter. So Crispy B is saying, I've just finished building a microscope for photography for up to 45 times magnification. Is there a specific brand of commercial pre-made slides you can recommend? I mean, honestly, if you want me to recommend something, then I would. I mean, honestly, yeah, I do have recommendations, but they're not cheap, right? And if you, for example, go to visit the German company Lieder, Lieder.de, Lieder.de. This is a company which they have a huge catalog of already prepared slides, and they're of very high quality. We're using them also in school, but they're not cheap, right? If you want to get cheap slides, go on Amazon, and some of them are okay. For the price, they're okay. But if you're asking for quality slides, then you have to go to actually a slide manufacturer that actually produces slides also for medical training, for example, right? And some of the slides are actually custom made even. If you have specific needs, especially for training purposes, medical training and so on, they've got pretty much everything, right? But as I mentioned, they're expensive because it's a quality product, maybe not needed. I also have to say that, right? So, so that is kind of the thing. Let me quickly read the comments again. Okay. Where can you find this microtome? Well, eBay, I would say, but I've seen it also commercially somewhere in some microscope shops. Yeah. What's the brand? Yeah, look. That's a Top Gem. I have no idea. It looks like this. Yeah. So you basically you have to rotate it down, and then if you rotate it down, then you can actually see that this thing is kind of moving out, right? Yeah, until it stops. Yeah. And another thing is what about this here? It comes with a clamp like this that you have to put in, and then you can clamp it to your table, which I'm not going to do now, right? But this is kind of for the table as well. So I cannot do that right now, but I just wanted to show this to you. So what I have to do is because this is too deep, I'm just going to put this piece of wood in here, right? And if I can fit it in here. Yes, okay. This is kind of just make sure, because the specimen has to touch the bottom, okay? It has to touch the bottom, otherwise it's not able to be pushed up. Huh? So, it does look antique. Yeah? Okay. Google for microtome empty.5503. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know my camera is pointed to the ceiling, and I've got backlight. I know about that. Yeah, so that's why I'm still kind of experimenting around with that system. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I've been just reading a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, yeah, prepare maybe a few more of these slices because I don't know how well they actually worked here. So I'm going to make a few more. What I have seen, however, as well as a problem, well-known problem, is that there are some air bubbles, right? So I've also tried to remove the air bubbles with ultrasound because I have an ultrasound cleaner now, which I didn't show you yet. Yeah. But I think it's going to be fine, right? So I'm going to do now the following. I'm going to take another one of those, slightly smaller one maybe over here. I always have to then close the lid again here, otherwise I'm going to spill it. And let's see how well this actually works. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. I'm going to put this in here, right? And maybe I'm going to move this up a little bit more so that it don't bump into it. And let's give it a try. So, first cut. Okay, you see how it gets stuck here a little bit beneath the edge, right? So what I have to do is I have to kind of loosen it a little bit to be able to move it up slightly. And then I can try it again. Yeah, so I got a very thin slice here. Not even a complete one. Nah, I have to, see, I have to put this away here. Yeah, so that's a little bit maybe a disadvantage here that, yeah, I have to loosen 1, 2, then let's try it again. Up, and now I got a fairly good slice. Yeah, I'm gonna put it again into the, here we go, into the water. Yeah, 1, 2, let's try 3. This is a little bit thicker, of course. I think it might be a little bit too thick. Yeah, so let's try again. 1, 1.5. 1.5 times might be, yeah, might be fine. There are already so many in here. Yeah, I'm just going to simply try to do the following. I'm going to maybe put it directly on a microscope slide. Ooh, look what happened. Oh, it came off. So it must be pretty old if the glue already is that bad. Yeah, I guess I have to glue it on again. But here, that's the that's the brand. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you know what? Let's just make a few more. Who cares? Just for the fun of it. It's. Let's see how fast they can do this. Yeah, like I don't know, maybe in 1, 1.5. 1, 1.5. 1, 1.5. Well, look, it's pretty reproducible. Yeah, it's pretty reproducible. I'm quite happy with that. Let's see what happens if I don't loosen it. If you know what, I'm just gonna dump this into the water now. Who cares? Yeah. Yeah. And what happens if I just leave it in here? Okay. I don't know if this is also able to cut it or not. Without loosening it. Actually, it does work. Look, it does work. I don't even have to loosen it. I can actually even make thinner slices. That's actually quite nice. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to probably make a second beaker here with a little bit of water again because these slices are thinner. Because I might actually then try to keep those. See how this works. You have to, I have to put it into water, okay? Because otherwise it will dry out with the alcohol and then it will start to shrink. They're pretty thin. So you know what? I'm just gonna put it directly under the microscope now. I'm just going to it's now has been the alcohol has now been replaced with water. Let's give it a try, okay? And let's see how well this actually works. Okay, I'm trying it with these tweezers because yesterday when I tried this, I damaged them because the tweezers were so pointed. But it's easier with those. Who cares? Let's just give it a try. Look. Yeah, it's all wrapped up. So I need to add a little bit of water like this and try to spread it. Does this actually work? Can it spread this? See that's another news. It's actually it's difficult to do, but actually that is good. Now it's sticking here somewhere, but actually that's good news. Oh, it's not spread. The reason why I think it's good news is because it actually shows that it's very thin. Okay, so let's have a look. I need a cover glass, and if this works, so I'm gonna put it now directly under the microscope. Let's change the scope view. Do I have? Here we go. So let's see how this looks like. This is now the 4 times objective. Oh, very nice. I'm really happy. This is actually much better than what I. This is actually much better than what I got yesterday. These are really thin cuts. It is much better than what I expected. I mean, I tried this out yesterday and I was already happy, but this is actually much more consistent. Look at this. Honestly, this is a really nice one. Look, it's complete. It's in, yeah, here a little bit, maybe here a little bit. Who cares? Yeah. Honestly, this, yeah, a couple of air bubbles here. That's 10 times. Let's go up a little bit. Okay. This is, by the way, this is bright field. I did not, yeah, this is completely bright field, so there is no, how do you say, DIC or anything like that. Okay. And indeed, if you just focus, look, when you focus, you can usually estimate the thickness a little bit, right? And you see that it's, yeah, 1 cell layer thick. So I'll give you a little bit of okay. As always, I have to give you a little biology lesson. This is a so-called, the name of the plant is called a sword lily. A sword lily. I collected, the video is in the making, but what you have over here in this is the following, is that it's a monocot plant, right? And this means that the vascular bundles where water is transported up the plant are arranged and scattered throughout the stem, like you see over here, right? Yeah. So that's very different from a so-called a dicot plant, which basically has those vascular bundles arranged nicely on the side. It's which plant? It's called a sword lily. For those of you who speak German, eine Schwertlilie. It's a very nice large flower with purple blue. Yeah, it's a huge one. And a couple of weeks ago rather, I found one, and I did not cut it down, but it was already broken. So I was on the ground and I took along some of the stem, and then I basically put the stem into alcohol here, because yeah, it's a nice and large stem, right? So, but that's simply the thing, yeah. So this is but honestly, I have to tell you, I'm a little bit surprised myself that, because as I mentioned just yesterday when I tried this, I was not able to cut it so thin. This was actually also quite nice. So, however, I'm going to continue because I need a lot of these cross sections. Okay, so we can already see that okay, that's the old view again. So that's the, how do you say, the new view. So let's have a look here again. So let's put this into the, you know what, I'm gonna just remove those here and throw it away. And you see it's shrinking a little bit because the alcohol, yeah, but look, it's still very thin. Let's put it in here. It's half a turn. Wow, half a turn is enough, really. Let's make a few of those. Yeah, and maybe I think one of the reasons why it works so well is yeah, also because I've got a completely new razor blade. Look at this. I've just turned it 2 notches. Okay, let's see if I can turn it 1 notch. Yeah, not quite. 1 notch is a little bit 1, 2. 2 notches is fine. One, two. Okay, I'm gonna make maybe a whole range of those, whole bunch of those. I'm gonna make, maybe you want to see it a little bit bigger. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, this is really nice. You can, in a short time, you can make a lot of these. What I did not try yet is a fresh stem. That would also be interesting to look at with all of the chloroplasts and so on. When you put it into alcohol like I have done, then it destains it in the sense that all of the green pigment is removed, right? Look at this. Can already, I don't know, in a short time even make hundreds of those. Yeah. 1, 2. I think I already have an idea for an upcoming live stream. Maybe I'm gonna try to make some permanent mounts of those. Yeah, but I do wanna try the new. Yeah, you see, I don't even have to. I actually thought that I had to loosen it, but it's not even necessary, right? So I just keep it clamped. Yeah. 1, 2. So, but you know what? Just for the fun of it, yeah, I've got enough now, right? But there is another plant that I would like to try. I wanna. Oops, where is it now? Did it? Oh, it fell off. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, I think we've got definitely more than enough now. Okay. So I'm gonna quickly take a break and read again a few of your comments. What I would like to do is I would like to, of course, also try to slice maybe a potato. So I've got a potato over there as well. Okay, I found one on TS2, searching Euromax attached cache microtome for 378 pounds. Wow. Okay. So honestly, yeah, that's before shipping too. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying it's so simple to make, actually, the principle. And I think honestly, I think the trick here is that the blade is kind of guided in a very consistent way. And I want to show you also my other microtome, which actually also works quite well, which I already also made a live stream a couple of months ago. However, yeah, there is no clamp in here. And it's a very nice microtome. However, it has the disadvantage. Look, when you try to move over with a razor blade like this, then yeah, there is flexibility here, right? And that's a little bit the problem. So what I need to have some kind of a guide or something that kind of stabilizes the razor blade, that when I can slide it across, and then as we now know, is we have to slide it in an angle somehow. So that's maybe the next. Maybe that's another thing that I'm going to try to. I mean, because I do have a 3D printer, maybe it's possible to make some kind of, I don't know, an attachment here that helps me guide the razor blade. I don't know. So there are plenty of projects, right? But in any case, this seems to be working, as you've seen, quite nicely. So I'm quickly reading some of the the pricing is insane. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So that, I think, I don't know, maybe it's always like this because it's not an end consumer device in the sense that a lot of people buy it, so maybe they can just push up the price however high they want to have it, right? The price is a high price for two reasons. It's old, it works well, and it's niche. Yeah. There's not a large market for it, right? Yeah. So I'm quickly reading again here. Yeah. So a feeling that every time the sample upwards. No. it's not like this that so it is not like this that when you move the razor, so there is not a how do you say, this was a question here, is it like this that when you move it that it essentially moves up the thing? No, it doesn't do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so you have to kind of turn it. Yeah, at least I'm not aware of any mechanism that or maybe it should do that. I don't know. It would be interesting every time when you kind of move it, that it kind of advances it automatically. I don't know. Yeah? So why did I put the cross sections in alcohol? Okay, 2 reasons mainly. Okay, here's the camera. I gotta get used to that. What I've got here is when I take plants, I like to put it into alcohol. This one, for example, is how old? This is probably 25 years old, this sample here. Yeah, in pure alcohol. So that's one thing. I put it into alcohol simply so that I can store it for a long time. That's reason number 1. The reason number 2, by putting into alcohol, we're removing the chlorophyll, the green pigment. So what's going to happen is that after a day or 2, the alcohol is going to turn green. Then I pour it out and I add fresh alcohol. And I have to do this a few times, and then basically it starts to lose color. I mean, it looks a little bit brownish, greenish here, but it was actually very green. So it's already very deep pigmented. Yeah, and this allows me to stain it. So basically, preservation is one thing, and the fact that it can then be stained. And maybe also another reason is sometimes I think it's a little bit easier to cut because when it's in alcohol, it becomes a little bit harder, right? But there is a huge disadvantage, and the disadvantage is that it will start. This one over here, for example, from before, it will start to dry because the alcohol evaporates, and it will start to become harder and harder and harder, and it will start to shrink, right? So this is actually a problem here. If you leave it in here, I can imagine that as it starts shrinking, maybe the cuts will not be as consistent anymore, right? So what I'm going to do, therefore, is I'm going to take it out, yeah, and I'm just going to put it back into the alcohol. There's not much left. Yeah. I think you get the idea. So here we go. Yeah. So let's do a little bit of staining, and then I do want to try to cut also a potato. Why the potato? Because I would like to see the starch grains inside the cell, right? And and honestly, I have not tried it with a potato yet, so that's also another reason. And and the label here I have to glue on again. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a couple of slides here, microscope slides. I just cleaned them today again. I washed them. And what I would like to do is I would like to, I mean, if you watched the video from 2 weeks ago, I was trying different stains like saffronin and crystal violet. And what I would like to do now is I would like to also try it, but now that the cross sections are much thinner, I wonder if it stains differently because the cell wall is now the only thing that kind of remained. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to simply take one of those things in here. See how it folds back? I'm going to put it on here. And I'm going to try now the 2 red stains. One of them is saffronin. So I'm going to put a tiny drop of saffron in here. And the new stain, which I just mixed today and which I did not try yet, is called fuchsin. And apparently it's also good for staining plant tissue. It's also has a red color. Okay. So, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to, I'm just going to use a toothpick to carefully move this here into the stain. Okay, and I need another one. So this, I don't know, any other one. So, okay, here, this is a fresh one. And let's see how well this actually works. You see, it actually kind of rolls up because it's so thin. So I don't know if this is gonna work well or not. So, and then what I need is I need a beaker with a little bit of water because I need to wash it. Okay, that's actually important. If you don't do that, if you don't wash it, then there is the problem that everything's going to be too dark. Everything's going to be too red. And what I want is I only want the actual cells to stain. When I tried this yesterday, about staining of 1 minute is enough. Now I'm gonna pick it up with the tweezers here, and this is probably going to damage it. Okay, so I've tried this before, and then some of the cells got ripped apart. I think that's okay. I think we're gonna find a part that's still going to be intact. Okay. Okay, so that's the first one. I don't know if I should mix this or not, so I'm just going to take it out again. Now the difficulty is how I'm going to spread it flat. Ah, it's flat. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. I don't know. I think it's not very stained. I'm just going to use the same wash water. Because what the stain, if it stains, what it does, it will react anyway with the cells. So yeah, so here is the other one. Let's wash it a little bit. So let's remember the one on the right is the fuchsin and the one on the left is the safranin. Some months ago, I actually did some. I mounted a few pollen in glycerol jelly, and this also contained the stain fuchsin. Yeah? So, but maybe I'm just always label. Remember, sometimes I forgot to label this. S is for safranin and F is for fuchsin, and a cover glass goes on top of each. And then let's have a look. Okay, and honestly, for me, this is also a little bit of a new thing because I did not observe those very thin slices yet. See, there is a little bit of, I might have to add a little bit more water. Here, there's some water in here already. Okay, we're just going to live with, then air bubbles in there, we're just going to live with that. So, yeah, you can already see that this did stain a little bit differently. Okay, this one is more reddish. This one is a little bit more pinkish. Let's put this away here, and let's give it a try. Okay, and where is the scope view again? Where is the? Why I'm not seeing anything? Ah, okay, that's the one from before. It takes a little bit of time for the camera to switch on. So let's see if those cross sections are also reasonably thin. So that's the one with safranin. Ah, yeah. Oh, where is it? I lost it. Here we go. Ah, yeah, you see a whole bunch of air bubbles still. Yeah. But actually, it looks nice. I mean, the air bubbles, we're just going to ignore those. But actually, it does look kind of nice. Let's have a look closer here. Let's go up with the magnification. Ah, yeah. Okay. So. Ah yeah. So you see that some of the cells are actually white, others are stained red. Look, those cell walls here stain again a little differently. So generally it's like this, that when you see a cell which is white, then the cell has been cut open and that the cell contents was lost. If there is still, if it stains red, then that means that the cell still must be intact, right? And then the cytoplasm has been stained. Huh? So apparently this cross section here was not quite as thin as the other one. Oh, I bumped again into it. Yeah, it does not look quite as thin. Well, but still nice. Yeah. So let's go down a little bit with the magnification. Here we go. Yep. It's okay. Yeah. It's not too dark, but now the new thing. Let's have a look at the new stain. Ah, okay. Look, it did stain a little bit differently. It also looks nice. Nice, interesting pattern. Yeah. So that is the new stain. Another thing is if somehow managed to cut it yet thinner, I wonder if I'm only able to see the cell wall. being stained. But on the other hand, you know, if the contents are also stained a little bit, it also looks nice. Yeah. But we see that I think both of them kind of look seem to. Yeah, that's again the other one. Seem to stain slightly similar. Okay, and it's the Fuchsine. Okay, so let's go up with the magnification yet further. Yeah, it's not quite as thin as the one that we had before. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Yeah. Huh. Looks nice. Let me quickly go through a couple of questions here. Small weighing spatula works well for picking up thin sections and moving them. Thank you for the recommendation. What do I have here? 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 If we can get it out of the box. Yes, here it is. Look, that is a spatula. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh, now I actually also have a use for this one here. Okay, yeah, this is also a way that how you can pick it up. There's a tiny spoon over here. Here, this one here is flat. Yeah. Some postage stamps, tweezers. I do have those here, right? Yeah. So that is. Put them in water. I'll quickly scan through the comments here, right? So in case, yeah. Ever smaller, Jesse. I definitely will have to model this microtome. Please, honestly, I would be really, really happy if the only thing that I kind of see is we do probably need some kind of a metal surface here for the razor blade to glide on. I guess, yeah. So maybe this is something we cannot 3D print. I don't know. Yeah, but if there is somehow a possibility, that would be really kind of great. Yeah. Yeah. So this is yeah. Quite nice. I'm just gonna go through the comments again here. Yeah. So which plant? It's called a so-called a sword lily. That's the name of this plant. Yeah. And did you clean the stem in an ultrasonic cleaner? What I did is the following: there are a couple of bubbles here, not so many, but look. You see those bubbles, those 3 bubbles? What I tried is I put the whole beaker into an ultrasonic cleaner and hoping to remove the bubbles, right? So the whole thing was for a minute going really wild. And I said, wow, this is going to probably remove the bubbles. It didn't really work well. Okay, so some bubbles that disappeared, then yeah. So actually, what the funny thing that actually did work is I took the beaker here with water. I'm just going to show you again here. So that the beaker here this one over here rather. So this beaker here with water, and what I've done is I've added about 20 to 30% alcohol, and this destroyed the surface tension and also has driven out any air bubbles that were in it. Right, so and then you can try to add more water to it. So this kind of by placing it again into alcohol, you're also able to remove the air bubbles. You could actually see how the air was kind of bubbling out. So there are different ways how you can try to do that, or you can try to apply a vacuum. But I tried it with an ultrasonic cleaner, and that unfortunately did not work. Maybe I didn't try it long enough, but maybe it wasn't strong enough. That could also be, right? But this was a little bit one of the things that did not work out so successfully. So yeah, here we go again. Huh? So I'm going to read again a couple of comments here. Hope. It would be worth making a permanent mount. Yes, indeed. I thought about this as well, but I decided not to do it in this live stream because I wanted to actually save a couple of topics for future live streams as well. So this is, yeah. What have you used to preserve the stem? 70% ethanol? No, it's 96% ethanol. I don't have the original bottle here. 96 or 97%. This is commercially available ethanol. It is not pure ethanol. They added something to it so that you cannot drink it. And for this reason, it is free of alcohol tax. right? So the ethanol is used for cleaning purposes. Maybe you know that in some restaurants, when you want to keep the dishes warm, there's this tiny blue little flame to heat up the buffet, right? And this usually contains ethanol as well. It's used also in some kind of for if you have a little fire or something like that, you can use that. So it has a wide range of commercial uses, and it's actually quite easily available, right? And I just used the concentrated one. It's I think 96 or 97%. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. 70% ethanol would probably also work, but I didn't bother to dilute it down. Yeah. So problem with the hand microtomes is that their specimen has room to move when you cut it, but with this one, the specimen has no room to bend or move. That is correct, and I would like to show you an idea which you just had 5 minutes before the start of this live stream, and that's the following. I pulled out this microtome here, and the idea, and that's actually something that I also plan to do, is the instruction manuals for this microtome say that you have to put a carrot, and you have to make the carrot round and fit it in here, and then you kind of put the specimen into the carrot. You kind of, yeah, the carrot being the support. But what I'm going to do, however, is the following. Is I'm going to 3D print a plug that fits in here. And what I'm going to do, let's say that this is the stem, okay? Let's say this is the stem of the plant. And I'm going to put the stem over here on the side. And the rest here will be filled up with a 3D printed plug, so to say, right? And which is going to be a little bit lower, right? And and then I'm able to cut it like this, yeah, with a razor blade. So that's kind of the and for different diameters of stems, I want to have a different plug that fits in here. So that's going to be probably a project for one of the upcoming videos that I'm going to make, and I would like to report back on that, right? So I would like to modify this one over here, and then maybe this works equally well. I don't know, right? But that would be actually a thing here, because if I have it in here, the thing is the following: if I put a plug, let's say in here, and this one in the middle, then there is still basically no, and when I cut it, then it's still able to move because there is no support all the way up to the all the way up. But if I have it here on the side, then it's able, the support goes all the way up to this edge over here, right? And so that's the reason why I'm going to put it here on the side, and the rest I'm going to fill up with a 3D printed plug that fits in here, right? So that's a little bit what I've been thinking. Not tested it, right? But I'm going to report back. Yeah. So, but actually, this is if this is were to work, then it would be nice. Okay. Oh wow. I'm missing. Skipping around here. There's so many comments here that, and now I lost it where I left off. Okay, okay, up here. So I'm gonna jump forward. Teeny, I noticed a lot of plant slides have a stain that's bluish green. Do you have any ideas what this stain could be? I don't know, but it could be what we're gonna do, just for the fun of it. Let's just also try the crystal violet one, okay? Because we've got everything prepared. And the crystal violet is a very, very intensive stain. Okay. Any reason why you push the sample into the stain rather than dropping it in? No reason. No reason. It's simply, yeah. The only thing that I've decided to do now is actually there might be a reason. I mean, look, if I have the sample on here, let's take this out. Let's take one of these out here. And now with the, let's see if I'm able to manage this. I don't know. Ha! Let me try this. If this doesn't work, if I cannot get this done like this, then I'm just going to do it the cruel way, even at the risk of damaging it. Can I grab one? Gee. They're so transparent, they're difficult to see. That's actually that's a good sign, because it kind of shows. Here we go. Here we got one of them. Ha! Where is it? Did I lose it, or No, it's on here. Good. So the question was why did I kind of drop it in? The reason is maybe because if I put it directly on here, then it's going to be a lot of stain, right? If I just drop a full drop, and so simply by dipping it here, yeah, I get a much smaller amount, and I'm not contacting the drop, right? So I'm not contaminating the stain. I think that's the only reason. I think there is no right or wrong way to do this. Yeah, you can now push it in here maybe. Okay, you leave it for a minute or so. I've also tried to wash it in a different way by removing. I mean, let's try it. I mean, we're here to experiment, right? So why not do the following? I'm going to use. I need a trash container. I'm just going to use this here. So I'm going to do a different way of flushing it now. Okay. So yeah, let's just try it. Okay. Let's see. This disturbs me a little bit here. Let's turn off the light here. Okay. So let's try a different way of washing it. I'm just going to remove the stain, and I'm just gonna kind of just rinse it like this. Maybe that's also a possibility. I don't know. You see, I'm just experimenting around, okay? It would be another way of possibly rinsing it. And I think the important thing is that the surrounding liquid is brighter than the actual specimen. At least we're probably doing less damage to the specimen this way. Yeah, but you can already see that it looks already pretty dark. Yeah, so let's drop another cover glass on top. Or there's one floating around here. And let's see, boom. I'm just gonna use this liquid here. Yeah, and let's give it a try. Okay, let's give this one a try as well, how it looks like. So this is crystal violet. Scope view. So this one now we should be actually able to see again the... Yes, so that's the one from before. I'm going to go down with the magnification. I'm all the time in bright field now, okay? Oh, this also looks nice. Actually, this looks so much better than my other trials. Because the cross sections are so much thinner, everything looks much brighter. Okay, so that is now the crystal violet one. Look at this. Look, gee, the whole. I'm checking pretty much everything is complete. Yeah. For your information. Gee, this live stream actually is I've actually finished another video, right, where I'm showing you how to make cuts and stains using exactly the same specimen, but I was hand cutting it. I just finished this video yesterday, and I've been also staining around a little bit, and I've already uploaded it, but I did not, how do you say, make it public yet, the video. I wanted to actually make it public in just now, but now I'm just realizing right now that what I'm doing right now actually has much better results than the video that I just finished. This poses a slight dilemma. I'm still gonna publish the video, okay? But actually this looks way better than in the video where I've been making the cuts by hand, right? But maybe that's a nice, how do you say, comparison in any case, yeah? So this is like teal colored. I don't know, which stain that would be. Yeah? It's much better to use a dropper to put water on the specimen and then remove the fluid on the slide with tissue paper. Yeah, okay, that's, yeah. Maybe it's similar to what I've done. I tried to use a pipette. Yeah. So... especially because you don't damage the structure. Yeah? You can use a small hand magnifier to check the coloring of the slide. You know what I could do? Not a hand magnifier, but let's just, because I simply have not tried it yet, I'm going to now remove this. Let's have a look at the whole thing under my stereo microscope, because then maybe I'm getting a complete view. Let me see if, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's basically how the whole thing looks like. Let me remove the arrow again. So that's now in my stereo microscope. It's a little bit, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to try to switch on light from the bottom. So that's now light from the bottom. So it's a little bit, yeah, and that's from the top. Just a second, maybe I can increase the intensity here a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, let's zoom in. Yeah, yeah. Of course, it looks a little bit more crispy. Definitely more crispy under the compound microscope. But as a first quality check, I think it's quite fine. Yeah. So that's under the stereo microscope. If you stain it longer, it will be darker. Yes. However, I found out that it stains fairly quickly. Okay, so even if you just stain it for a couple of seconds, I found out then it's already pretty blue. And indeed the thickness of the specimen has a very strong impact on the actual, and maybe also the destaining time has a very strong impact on the actual darkness. Yeah. So what I probably would have to try to do in the future is to maybe dilute down the stain a little bit. Yeah, so that's, yeah. So, but I just realized another experiment that I would like to try, and it kind of goes a little bit into that direction. Let's look. Let's have the desk view again here. Okay, look at this here. This is the washing solution, right? So why not try the following? Why not try the following? And I don't know if again, not tried it. I'm going to take one of those here, and I'm going to now dip the thing, and I know it's gonna be a bit rough, probably. So I've got one of them here, and I'm just going to dip it in here, and let's see if it's able to accept some of the stain. Maybe the stain, the diluted stain somehow does react. I don't know. Okay. It contains now saffron in it. It contains now crystal violet. It contains now a bit of fuchsine. So let's see. Let's see a little bit. Again, this is a. I need glasses. This did not stain a lot, but but that's also an experiment right now. So I've stained it now in this wash solution, and yeah, you actually do see something. Let's have a look. So this is very weakly stained. You know what? I'm going to add again. So let's have a look at. Oh, okay. You've been barely able to see this. Okay. So yeah. So this one has been directly stained in crystal violet and then washed, and this one has been stained in the washing solution. So actually the waste. Yeah, and you can actually see that there is already something is going on here already. So let's have a look. Okay, I need to switch over to the microscope again. Where is the scope view? It takes always a second for it to switch on. Not so much, but a bit maybe. Yeah. So a little bit, maybe I have to zoom in a bit more. Yeah, not very much, but we can actually see that here on the side here, there was a little bit of staining already happening. It turned a little bit blue. Yeah. This kind of shows a little bit that the stain does react with the cell wall. Yeah, that's actually here now we see it. That's interesting. Do you see it? It stained only certain cell walls. So let's go up 60 times. Ah, looks also kind of nice. By the way, this is how do you say bright field? What I've got here, right? It still looks a little bit three-dimensional. It's bright field. No, I don't have DIC currently active. And I think it does look like this because it does have a certain thickness. Still, yeah. So you can see that some cells really react quite aggressively with, aggressively is not the correct term, quite readily with the pigment. So, let me quickly check again. You can also start with blue staining, rinse with water, and then use red staining. These stains different. So that's differential staining. Why not try it out? Okay. I'm just reading the remaining comments here. Couldn't you use something like wax paraffin to fill up the space that would be easily reused? Do you think about the wax for the microtome here? Maybe, possibly. Then maybe it could also be cut more easily. That would be possible. Yeah. But then if you well, then I need some kind of a mold probably. Yeah. Okay. Or you can use an eyelash and paint in some of the fuchsine in certain areas. Oh, I get it. Why not try to paint? Okay. Okay, I'm just reading the comments. Any chance of a future stream doing whole mounts of something like a housefly, beetle, or an ant? They're kind of big, right? I'd have to dissect them. Just for your information, yes, I do want to do some insect microscopy, probably more with a stereo microscope, because just the day before yesterday, we and my students, we did a so-called an insect project. Every year we do that. We go out to the garden of the school, we catch insects with the help of an entomologist, and we draw them, and we also identify them together. So I have actually a whole bunch of insects still in school, and I can actually bring them along as well, and we can look at them under the microscope. Okay, so this is indeed something because they look pretty cool as well. But making whole mounts, I would have to dissect them because a whole fly is too thick. But what one could think about, but I've not tried that yet, is actually prepare a whole fly in such a way that you can actually microtome it. Then I'd have to embed it in paraffin. Yeah. So, but you know what? Why not try just for the fun of it to do a differential staining, which basically means stain it first. Let's say blue. I mean, let's try. Why not try it? Let's stain it blue first, and then let's stain it here. In with the let's say fuchsine and saffron in. I don't know. We're just gonna give it a try. And I'm going to, however, do this a little bit the fast way. So first a little bit here. Maybe I'm going to dilute it down a little bit because otherwise there is maybe the danger of it becoming too dark. So I'm adding a little bit of water now. Let's dilute it a little bit. Okay, because otherwise, yeah. So, and then I'm gonna do this again the very easy way. I'm just going to take my tweezers, which I misplaced. Can you believe it? Right in front of me. We're gonna try it with a new system here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out again one of those here. Okay. A little bit of staining very quickly. I'm going to immediately rinse it again. You see, it's already quite blue. Then I'm going to add some saffron in. I'm going to rinse it again. I'm going to do this really short. And I'm going to do the new stain fuchsin. This is highly experimental what I'm doing here right now. So no idea if this is actually going to work or not. And I'm going to rinse it again. Then I need a microscope slide. I'm trying to spread it. If I'm able to do that. See, it's kind of falling back on itself. As I mentioned already, it's maybe a good sign because it kind of shows that it's very thin. Oh yeah, here we go. And cover glass goes on top. It looks more red than blue. We're going to add again a little bit of more water. So this is now basically all three stains together. Let's have a look. Scope view, and let's take out the other one. Yeah, what time is it? Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do now, just for the fun of it, I'd like to try to also cut a little bit of the potato and see how well that actually works. Ah. Okay. A little bit bluish over here. Let's go up with the magnification a little bit. Yeah, look. Okay. So here on the side it's a little more blue. Here in the center it's a little bit more red. So, I mean, this is not, how do you say, optimized, right? This is just done very quickly, but we can actually see the different parts do seem to stain slightly differently. And again, I'm really happy that pretty much all of the cross sections right now look pretty good and very consistent. I mean, this is already that. Forget about the staining. It's simply the fact that the everything's so consistent is actually quite nice. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So it basically means if you don't know what you're doing basic research. Yes. Yeah. You see, the point is, the thing is the following. I'm a teacher, biology teacher, you already know. And when I teach science to my students, then you have to have a hypothesis, you have an aim, you have a research question, you have to control your variables. That's all of the stuff, yeah. But actually, a lot of research just happens where people just try it out. You know, there is no, they don't formulate a formal hypothesis, or they just try it, and we just observe. You know. And very often we're kind of sometimes experiments that we do in school. Maybe some of my students are listening here as well. Some of the experiments that we're doing in school are simply over-engineered, yeah. Because a lot of science is simply trial and error, and you just try to figure it out and see what happens, yeah. Yeah, the blue stain does seem to affect the outside parts more. Look here, it looks already purple. Yeah, and we've already seen this before in the other one, where we actually have seen that the one that the ones on the outside stained blue. Yeah. And now the next step would be I don't know, to kind of optimize it by changing the concentrations around and the timing and all these things, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? No question in the Q&A session today, but still, I'm not gonna stop yet because I wanna know. I wanna know. I wanna cut the potato, and I wanna see how well this actually works. This microtome actually works with a potato. Okay, that's all. So let's move this up here again. Yeah, let's. Okay. So let's methylene blue. Okay. Well, I actually do even have methylene blue over there. But what I want to do is I just want to, I'm going to make a French fry now. Oh, what was this? Was this some kind of a... Okay, so. Let's try this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this works, maybe it doesn't work, I don't know. We're just going to give it a try. So, this is also a first what I'm doing here, right? This is, oh, here's the camera. This is, yeah, so let's put it in here. Bloop. And let's see how well this works. So that is, yeah, the potato. Let me put a slide right next to it. And this is a this is actually much faster, easier to cut. And see, that's interesting. Maybe it did get stuck now. Now it did get stuck. So let's erase it. Here we go. See, now it did get stuck here on the side. So I have to loosen it. And now I can turn it. Next slice. Here we go. Now I have to loosen it because otherwise it's gonna get stuck. So I'm gonna turn it only halfway. You see, the point is the potato is much softer. And let's give it a try here. Look at this. Wow. This is okay. This is there's a little bit of stain here on the toothpick. So maybe this is also going to be transferred. So I need some water. I'm just going to grab it from here. Cover glass. So let's see if we're able to see some starch grains. I mean, starch grains I already showed you so many times before. You scratch off some of the potato and then you see them. But right now, we should actually, I want to see the intact cellular structure. So we're going to have a look here. And again, this is again a first. And I need to switch over to the scope view again. It takes a second for the microscope to turn on. Okay, yeah, lots, too many starch grains. Okay, let's go up here. Maybe this does look a little bit thicker. Sword lily, that's correct. Tini Coco just commented that. Yeah. The first sample was not a potato. The first sample was the stem of a sword lily. Okay, but this here is now a potato. And when focusing, we can actually see it's maybe 1 or 2 cell layers thick. Okay. Okay. Could you try making slices without using the knob to see if it comes up by itself? So I'll be trying that. Okay. So let's have the following because I also want to know. So very briefly, what we see over here is the following. Yeah, those little round things that you see, of course, these are the starch grains, nothing unusual here. Here we see the cells, and that's actually something that I wanted to see. We can actually see that inside the cell, there are these starch grains. Yeah. So, yeah, lots of starch inside a potato, not surprisingly. But over here, it seems to be a little bit thicker. Yeah, and here we're already outside. And here, these are free starch grains. So what I probably would have to try to do is maybe I'm able to make thinner cross sections also by dropping the potato first into some alcohol to remove the water. Here's some, it makes it a little bit harder. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do the following. Let's try it in any case. Simply because the question is now, will it come up by itself simply by moving it forward and backward? Yeah. Shall I be honest with you? I mean, look. I mean, there's something interesting over here. Maybe look, do you actually see this part here? This part here is actually the wheel. That's actually the wheel. Yeah, this wheel here. will be rotated up when you turn it like this. Right? Do you actually see it spinning in here? Let me turn up, maybe we can turn up the light. Do you see this wheel in here, right? That's interesting. Wouldn't it kind of make sense that if you were to move it over like this, if there were some extension that it would actually turn the wheel? Yeah, but then that would be an interesting thing. But it didn't do that, right? So there did not seem to be an, yeah, but that would be an interesting thing here. Yeah, so the wheel doesn't move, right? But it kind of is, that's kind of a big coincidence that the wheel actually just is big enough to be right beneath this slot here. So it would be possible maybe to design it in such a way that if you were to move it over, it would kind of maybe push the wheel along like this. Yeah? But it doesn't do that. Yeah? So I always have to kind of rotate it. Yeah? Now you see it rotating, right? I'm going to turn it a couple of times now. So, yeah. Now I cannot move it further because it's already all the way to the top. It's a very thick. Yeah. So what I have to do now, because I cannot turn it further, it's already all the way in. So what I have to do is I have to, essentially take it out. Look. And I have to reset it by turning everything down again. Yeah. See, it comes out. But it doesn't turn. And I wonder, Yeah, interesting idea in any case. But it does not seem to advance automatically. Yeah. Why do the ends have more blue stain in your opinion? Well, because different cell walls, because the stain will react to the different components in the cells. And if the cell wall now has a certain chemical composition, and certain stains will actually react with it more than others. So the staining patterns or the parts of the stain actually depend on the chemical interaction between the specimen and the stain. Right? So for example, if the stain is alkaline basic, then it will tend to stain more acidic parts of a cell and vice versa. Yeah? So that's a reason why stains can be used to actually make certain structures better visible than others. Yeah? So wow, there was lots of comments and questions. Yeah, I'm quickly... Yep, so far I'm just quickly going through the... Okay, yeah, so all of these comments are already answered. Yeah. So that's basically, lots of things to experiment around with. So maybe by also dehydrating the potato by putting it into alcohol for a day or two, will probably make it shrink, but maybe it will also make it a little bit easier to cut. Yeah. So, but what we, so that's a little bit, but I do want to, let's do the following, just as a last thing, for the fun of it. I also want to stain the potato. Okay, let's also stain a potato, just for the fun of it. Okay, so slicing. Now I have to unfortunately push it here, so otherwise it's getting stuck. Ha! Nice. So, I need a slide. And let's put it on here. And I'm going to just try to, I don't know, which stain should we use? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut it apart. And I'm going to try two different stains. Here and here. Let's try, I don't know, the crystal violet always works. And let's try that. And let's take this again. Let's wash it again. Okay, and the other one is, I don't know, let's try safranin. Okay. Of course, iodine would be ideal as well, because then you would actually stain the starch grains. So again, this is the first time actually I'm staining potatoes at all. And then number 1. I don't know, this appears to be a little too thick. Maybe it seems to be a little bit folded back on it to itself again. Let's add a little bit more water. So let's give it a try. This looks too dark a little bit, but we're gonna see. So microscope view. So here we go again. I don't like this arrow. So, and so that is the potato in, ugly. Okay. Okay. Not nice. So too thick in any case. And this one over here is the safranin. Oh, it looks a little bit better. Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of like the stem cross sections were a little bit nicer looking. But at least here we can actually see. Yeah. Oh, it looks also okay. I mean, you get the idea. Yeah, so that's simply experimentation now, right? So, and where are the others again? That's the one from before. I think let's have a look at the stem cross section from the beginning. Yeah, I mean, this is of course the nicest one. Yeah, the potatoes didn't look so nice, but this one looks pretty. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a couple of pictures of this and then I'm gonna print it out and put it on my wall. Yeah. So yeah, it's already 1.5 hours. What I'm gonna do very quickly is I'm gonna quickly go through. Are there any comments for me? Did you see my off-topic question about the micro enclosure I'm prototyping? No, yeah, I kind of overread it. Just a second, I have to go back to the question of your micro enclosure. Where is this again? I'm trying to find this. So yeah, ever smaller. Off topic, I'm also currently testing my first version of a prototype of a sealed micro enclosure. 3 days, no leaks, and life inside is going well. So that's I assume some kind of a micro aquarium. So basically, where you're able to keep a specimen alive for several days. Please, if you have pictures or something, please do share it. Yeah, it's would be very interesting. Thank you for the recommendation. So yeah, yeah, but it's these micro enclosures or micro aquaria are like this, that basically they prevent the evaporation of water, and then sometimes you can keep some specimens alive for several days. Yeah. So I think I'm tired, people. Right now it's at my time, Central European time, 11 o'clock in the evening. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do a live stream next week. I still have to see if I have time to prepare a video, though. Okay. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, otherwise I'll have to see you again in 2 weeks. Now, because of today's live stream, I have a whole couple of ideas again of what I can continue to experiment. I do also, before I say bye, there has been a request by someone who asked me of whether I can change the time of the live stream to do it either on a Friday or a little bit earlier. I don't know, right? So what I might be doing is I might be posting a survey or a poll in my how do you say this, in my YouTube channel concerning the times, right? So essentially, that's simply has been a request. For me, it's an appropriate time. I could think about doing it half an hour earlier as well, but I don't know if this is suitable for everyone because we're in different time zones, and I won't be able to make everyone happy. But if the majority of you say that a different time would be better, then we can think about that. So yeah, I just want to float that idea. Okay, so. Yeah, I'm just going to call it a day for today. I hope that I was able to answer all questions today. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I wish you all the best. Thank you that you've joined me again. I really love the community, the microscopy community. It's really great. I have learned a lot, or I am learning a lot in the whole process. Yeah. Wow, thank you so much. And I received even a donation here. Thank you very much. I'm going to call it a day today. I wish you all the best. Happy microbe hunting as always. And bye-bye. See you in 2 weeks. All the best. Bye-bye.